Welcome to the Shigeaki podcast, where ancient wisdom meets modern science to help you stay strong, sharp and independent after 60. I'm Dr. Mark Hyman, and let me begin today with a simple question. You probably eat nuts for your heart, but did you know one of them might help you build muscle like you were 40 again? That's not an exaggeration, that's nutritional science paired with generations of practical tradition. Now, for decades, we've believed eggs were the perfect protein for healthy aging, and in many ways, they are complete amino acids, easy to digest, and versatile. But here's what most people don't realize. After 60, your body doesn't absorb protein the same way it did in your 30s or 40s. And sometimes even with eggs, you're still losing strength. That's where one surprising nut comes in a natural, easy-to-eat powerhouse that not only provides high-quality protein, but also essential minerals, anti-inflammatory fats, and muscle-preserving compounds. We'll reveal that nut shortly. But first, I want to introduce my co-host and dear friend, Dr. Shigeaki Hinohara.
Thank you, Dr. Hyman. In Japan, we have an old saying, a good nut is quiet medicine. It doesn't shout, it doesn't demand attention, but when eaten with care every day in the right amount, it quietly keeps the body strong, the mind alert, and the joints moving freely. I've watched many elders, some in their 80s, even 90s, walk, garden, dance, and live fully. Not because of heavy gym workouts, not because of fancy supplements, but because of simple daily habits, including how they use nuts not as a snack, but as strength-giving food. Especially in places like Okinawa, it's common to see older adults eat just a few walnuts or roasted soybeans after lunch. Not because they're trendy, but because they're functional. In Japanese medicine, we don't eat just for taste or calories. We eat to keep moving. We eat to stay free.
So today in this episode, we'll share why muscle loss happens so quickly after 60 and how to stop it. A deeper look at how much protein your body really needs in this stage of life. The 4 most powerful nuts to protect your muscles, improve balance, and support energy, and most importantly, how and when to eat them to actually see and feel results.
If you or someone you love is feeling weaker, less steady, or just a little slower, this might be the gentle, natural reset your body has been asking for. So don't forget to like, subscribe, and share this episode, because sometimes one small change, like one good nut, can change how you move, sleep, and feel for years to come. Let's begin.
Let's talk about a silent shift that happens in your body after 60, even if you're eating healthy. It's called anabolic resistance, and it means your muscles become less responsive to protein. In your 30s, a small serving of chicken or an egg might be enough to trigger muscle repair. But after 60, that same amount doesn't do the job. Your body just doesn't build muscle as easily anymore. Why does this matter? Because every year after 60, you can lose 1 to 2% of your lean muscle mass, especially if you're not eating enough protein or staying active. And that muscle isn't just for strength. It's your engine for balance, metabolism, immune function, and energy.
In Japan, we say muscle does not leave because of age. It leaves because no one speaks to it. Food is one way to speak to it, but not all food speaks kindly. As you grow older, your digestion slows. Your tissues become more sensitive. That's why we turn to soft, digestible proteins like steamed fish, fermented soy, and yes, nuts. Nuts may seem small, but they carry deep energy. They don't shock the body, they nourish it.
And here's the key number. If you're over 60, your body likely needs 1.2 to 1.6 grams of protein per kilogram of body weight daily. That's far more than the general adult recommendation of 0.8 GCal. And most seniors aren't getting even close to that, especially if they're skipping meat or relying on small meals. So the big question is, how do we get enough of the right kind of protein in a gentle and consistent way? That's where today's conversation about nuts becomes so important.
Now here's the real concern. By the time most people turn 60, over 27% already show signs of sarcopenia. That's the medical term for age-related muscle loss. And this doesn't just mean looking thinner. It means less power when climbing stairs, loss of balance on uneven ground, more effort just to stand up from a chair, and feeling exhausted after simple walks.
When we see this in Japan, we worry because it's not just muscle loss. It's often the first sign of losing independence. When the legs go, freedom follows. That's why we encourage people even at 70, 80, or beyond to treat muscle like a living treasure. Feed it, move it, and protect it daily.
You don't need protein shakes or heavy meats. You just need the right foods, the kind your body understands and welcomes. And in the next section, we'll reveal 4 nuts that quietly build strength with every small handful. Let's keep going.
Let's start with one of the most underrated but powerful nuts for rebuilding muscle, the walnut. Just a 28-gram serving that's about 7 halves contains around 4.5 grams of protein. Now, that might not sound like much, but here's the magic. Walnuts don't just give you protein, they also deliver ALA, a plant-based omega-3 fatty acid that your body uses to calm inflammation in the joints and muscles. And remember, when you're over 60, muscle loss is often tied to chronic low-grade inflammation, the kind that makes you feel stiff, sore, or tired after even light activity.
In Japan, we've used walnuts for centuries. They appear in herbal medicine texts as foods that strengthen the kidneys, lubricate the joints, and rebuild inner energy. They're never eaten in excess. Just a few nuts in the mid-morning with tea, or a piece of fruit, almost like a quiet ritual. A strong back does not come from heavy lifting, it comes from steady nourishment.
And that's the key here. Walnuts don't overwhelm the body. They gently support recovery, especially for people who walk, daily stretch, or do light exercise but still feel sore or tired after. Here's how to use them for muscle benefit. Eat 4 to 6 walnut halves in the late morning between breakfast and lunch. Avoid salted or roasted versions. Too much sodium or heat can degrade the oils. Try sprinkling them on warm oatmeal, a mixed green salad, or even blending them into a smoothie.
We often remind our patients, a small nut taken daily builds more strength than a steak taken once a week. It's not about volume, it's about consistency.
Exactly. Start small, stay steady, and you'll begin to feel it: less joint pain, better energy, and that deep, stable strength returning to your legs and posture. Now, let's talk about a nut that's not just crunchy, but calming: almonds. One small handful, about 28 grams, gives you 6 grams of protein. But what makes almonds so special for people over 60 isn't just the protein, it's the combination of magnesium and vitamin E. Magnesium is one of the most important minerals for muscle recovery. It helps relax your muscles after walking, gardening, or light exercise. And vitamin E. That's your body's natural anti-inflammatory and antioxidant shield, helping repair cells and reduce soreness.
In Japan, we treat almonds with care. They are not meant to be crunched straight from the bag, salted and roasted. Instead, we soak them gently overnight and serve them in the morning, soft, cool, and kind to the digestion. The elderly stomach appreciates softness more than strength. When almonds are soaked, they're easier to digest and their nutrients are more bioavailable. It's like waking up the almond's natural healing energy.
That's right. Soaking also reduces compounds like phytic acid that can interfere with mineral absorption. And for older adults, every bit of magnesium, calcium, and zinc really counts. So, here's how to use almonds for muscle health. Take 6 to 8 almonds, soak them overnight in clean water. Peel them in the morning. If you like, the skin can be tough for sensitive digestion. Eat them with soft fruits like banana or papaya, or stir them into yogurt or almond milk porridge.
In my experience, people who start their day with soaked almonds often report less fatigue, better digestion, and more mental clarity by late morning.
Exactly. This isn't about adding more food, it's about adding the right food at the right time. Coming up next, a nut with one of the highest protein to size ratios and a secret weapon for seniors who want better balance: pistachios. In just 28 grams, about one small handful, you get 6 grams of protein. But what makes pistachios truly unique is their content of leucine, an amino acid that acts like a switch. Leucine doesn't just build muscle, it actually triggers the body's muscle-building process. That's incredibly important after 60, when the body needs a louder signal to start repairing and rebuilding tissue.
In Japanese nutrition, we often say, a nut with color holds energy. A nut with structure gives direction. pistachios have both. Their green hue indicates antioxidants and their compact size holds dense bioactive protein. We recommend pistachios for elders after walking, stretching, or gardening, not before, because they work best when your muscles are slightly warm and your blood is already moving, like a helper arriving after the work has begun.
Exactly. If you've done light movement, 15 minutes of walking, or even chores around the house, pistachios are the perfect afternoon refuel. They're also great for blood sugar stability and keeping energy levels steady through the second half of the day. Here's how to use them wisely. Eat one small handful about 28 joules after light exercise or mid-afternoon. Choose unsalted, dry roasted, or raw versions to avoid excess sodium. Use them as a healthy snack instead of chips, crackers, or sugary bars.
In Japan, we sometimes grind pistachios and mix them into a warm porridge or rice dish, especially for older adults who struggle with chewing. But even eaten plain slowly with tea, they offer clarity, stability, and quiet power.
You don't need a supplement to tell your muscles what to do. Sometimes a single nut with the right message like leucine-rich pistachios can gently guide your body back to strength. And now, for our fourth and final nut, technically a seed is one of the most nutrient-dense foods on Earth. I'm talking about pumpkin seeds. In just 28 grams, a small handful, you get about 7 grams of protein, making them one of the highest protein per gram plant foods you can eat. But that's not the only reason we love them. Pumpkin seeds are also packed with zinc and iron, two minerals that often drop as we age. Zinc helps your body absorb and use protein, while iron supports red blood cell production, the foundation of energy and muscle oxygenation.
In traditional Japanese healing, we always watch the color of the tongue, the strength of the legs, and the sound of the breath. If someone is pale, tired, or complains of cold hands and feet, we ask how strong is your blood. Pumpkin seeds, or kabocha no tene, are our gentle remedy. They are not eaten in large amounts, just a few lightly dry roasted, and often paired with warm tea or soup to support digestion.
That's key. These seeds are powerful but easy to integrate. Here's how to use them well. Lightly toast them without oil to preserve the healthy fats. Eat 1-2 tablespoons mid-morning or in the evening. Sprinkle on soups, stews or rice porridge, or pair with a warm cup of herbal tea.
They digest slowly, sustain your energy, and nourish both your muscles and your mind. For elders who may not tolerate heavier proteins, pumpkin seeds offer a clean, plant-based way to quietly build strength and improve circulation.
4 simple nuts, 4 different gifts. And when used consistently, not in handfuls but in small, wise portions, they can gently help you feel steadier, move better, and rebuild what aging has tried to take away. Now, let's talk about what really happens, not just in theory but in real life, when older adults start eating the right kinds of nuts every single day. You see, for decades, American seniors were told to go low-fat. They cut out oils, avoided nuts, skipped egg yolks, and switched to fat-free everything. And what happened? Yes, cholesterol dropped in some cases, but so did muscle strength, so did energy levels, so did metabolism. I've had so many patients in their 60s, 70s, even early 80s who came in with the same complaints. Fatigue by mid-afternoon, wobbly knees when climbing stairs, and poor sleep even when they followed a healthy diet. When we looked deeper, their diets were missing key healthy fats and muscle-building nutrients, the kind that nuts deliver in compact, powerful form.
In Japan, we never feared natural fats from plants. We simply used them in small, deliberate amounts, not for pleasure, but for purpose. We do not eat nuts to feel full. We eat them to feel capable. Elders in Okinawa, for example, often eat just a small pinch of roasted soybeans or sesame seeds with their midday miso soup. Or they take 5 walnuts and stir them into warm rice with ginger and salt. Not snacks, not treats, but functional food eaten with intention, never mindlessly.
And now, science is catching up to that wisdom. In a recent 12-year longitudinal study published in the Journal of Nutrition, Health and Aging, researchers found that older adults who ate a handful of nuts daily had a 23% lower risk of physical disability as they aged compared to those who rarely ate nuts. Let that sink in, not from supplements, not from weight training, but from simply adding small daily amounts of nuts into their meals.
I remember one of my patients, an 81-year-old man, who had begun to avoid stairs and short walks because he felt unstable. His appetite was low and he often skipped protein at breakfast. We made one small change: 6 soaked almonds in the morning with fruit, a spoon of pumpkin seeds in his rice at night. After just 4 weeks, he returned to clinic smiling. He was climbing stairs again. He said his legs felt lighter, and for the first time in months, he could sleep through the night without leg cramps.
And it's not just mobility. There's also research showing that nuts improve metabolic function and brain clarity, 2 areas that deeply affect quality of life in older adults. I had one woman in her 70s, recently retired, who had tried everything for her late-day energy crash, coffee naps, more carbs. We simply added pistachios after her afternoon walk, walnuts with her morning oatmeal. In 3 weeks, her feedback was, "I don't crash anymore. I feel stable. I sleep better. I move easier."
Well, sometimes people expect strength to come from struggle, from pushing harder, lifting heavier, or exercising more. But we've seen it time and again in the East. Strength that lasts comes from food that listens. And nuts, when chosen, carefully listen to your body. They carry quiet wisdom.
So whether you're walking more, doing yoga gardening, or just trying to stay active, don't underestimate the power of one handful of the right nut at the right time every day.
It's not about overhauling your diet. It's about adding small anchors of strength nuts that restore function, improve balance, and keep your body responsive.
And when you make that change, watch how your energy, mood, and confidence return one bite at a time. Coming up next, our final thoughts, and a gentle challenge to help you start this new habit today. If you've been told you need more protein after 60, you're not alone. But here's the good news. You don't need protein shakes or meat at every meal. Sometimes all it takes is the right handful at the right time. That handful can be soaked almonds in the morning, pistachios after a walk, or walnuts with your oatmeal. It doesn't need to be fancy or expensive. It just needs to be consistent and matched to your body's rhythm.
In Japan, we often say, quiet nutrition builds strong legs. It's not about extremes. It's about small habits with long roots. Nuts are one of those habits. They carry ancient energy. They digest softly, nourish deeply, and work quietly. And for older adults, that's exactly what you want. Support without strain, protein without heaviness, energy without crashes.
We've shared 4 powerful nuts in this episode. Walnuts for anti-inflammatory omega-3s, almonds for magnesium and recovery, pistachios for leucine and muscle building, pumpkin seeds for blood-building iron and zinc. Each one offers something unique, and each one supports the aging body in a different but essential way.
But information is only the first step. This week, we invite you to take action, not tomorrow, not next month, but today. Here's your simple challenge. Choose one nut from this episode, the one you feel most drawn to. Eat it once a day at the suggested time for the next 7 days. Write down how you feel your energy, your legs, your sleep, your digestion. It doesn't have to be perfect, just observe. Let your body speak.
Sometimes the biggest change comes from the smallest shift. You might notice you wake up clearer, you walk steadier, you feel less sore after doing the laundry or taking the stairs.
And if you're doing this with your parents, grandparents, or a loved one, even better, the body listens to food, but it heals faster when it's loved. So sit down together, share a small bowl of nuts. Make it a ritual, not just for the body, but for the bond.
We believe in medicine that doesn't come in bottles. We believe in healing that starts in your kitchen. And if you've made it this far with us, you're already taking your first step towards stronger legs, better balance, and longer independence. Keep going, one handful at a time. And if this episode spoke to you, please subscribe, and share it with someone you love. A simple nut could become their quiet turning point. Together, let's help every person over 60 rediscover the strength that's still inside them.